Well, it's officially survey day, folks, and I am so freaking pumped. The boat is a 2003 Navigator 4800 3-stateroom pilot house, and the goal of today is to check off three main categories. The first is the interior structure of the boat and its internal systems. The second is hauling out the boat to ensure there's no soft spots or delamination on the hull. And the third, and the biggest unknown, is the sea trial to ensure that the engines perform as expected. It's only me today since the boat is quite a distance from home, and a survey typically takes 6 to 9 hours, so a little too long for our family. But let's pray that everything goes well today so we can finally become boat owners. It's time to find out. So we got started right away heading straight down into the engine room. This boat has Volvo Penta TAMD 63Ls, the 318 horsepower version, which is the slower but more fuel efficient model. Down in the engine room, Scott, our surveyor, took a look at everything from steering system to trim tab mounts, bilge pump, fuel tanks, engines, battery systems, pretty much everything you can think of.
Never put anything on these tanks.
Okay.
Any moisture that would get between, like if you put like blankets or anything, pads or anything in this tank, it'll create corrosion.
Okay.
It's called poultice corrosion. So these have been maintained really well, but to keep it that way, don't ever put anything on top of them.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
There are obviously many things that you want to look for within an engine room, but from my limited experience, I notice you want to focus your attention for any signs of leaks, whether it be coolant or oil, and any significant rust. If you do not have any service or maintenance records, then focus in on the hose clamps. If they're rusty, then they likely haven't been touched in a long time. Also, don't forget about the engine mounts. These boats are over 20 years old, so don't assume they're solid. You want to make sure they're not loose or damaged in any way. And Scott has a process to put them to the test during the sea trial. Overall, this engine room was pretty clean. I love how the previous owner had all the maintenance records on both engines and the generator, and I was involved with the recent work done on the turbos too, which helped boost our confidence. Lastly, do not forget to get oil samples of the engines, the transmissions, and the generator, because at the end of the day, this is going to be the most expensive part of the boat, and you want to make sure that they're healthy. After the engine room, we moved into the salon, and Scott gave me a quick overview of what to expect on the survey, which I think may be helpful for you.
That you work on over the first year when you're figuring out what you want to do. Some things might be, we're going to, replace all the blinds, for example. So we're not going to worry about any of that until we replace blinds. So it gives you a way to kind of organize your punch list, basically.
So A is top priority, B
will be safety and compliance. Things that insurance will say, they'll basically cut and paste that list into a form and say, Kevin, you got to sign off on these within the first 60 days of ownership and send this back, kind of like an affidavit with your signature.
Gotcha.
Because, and if you just say, I'm going to do it, but I haven't done it yet, if, let's say it was a bilge pump not working, and then the boat sinks, and the investigation shows that the bilge pump wasn't working, and it's on you. They won't pay the claim. So the things that you sign, make sure you do. If you replace a pump or something like that, whatever we find, then just document it, have a receipt, take a picture of it. You don't need another inspection. They're going to take your word for it that you did something about it. And so just document what you do. Okay. And then you're covered. Okay. Yeah. And then B will be things that I usually put immediate, like some of those bonding wires, they could be A or B. Because galvanic is slow corrosion, I put them as B. Yeah. It gives you some time to go through all that.
Okay. We spent the next few hours checking all of the interior systems of the boat, including safety equipment like flares, life jackets, smoke detectors, all things needed to pass a Coast Guard inspection. We looked for any water intrusions, using a moisture meter to scan areas prone to leaking, and we tested out the HVAC systems on the boat. This vessel has 3 different ACs on board, one for the salon, one in the pilot house, and one to handle the 3 staterooms. We lifted up every hatch in the floor to look for additional bilges, check the macerator pump, and understand every through hole we found. We tested the heads, toilets, showers, and sinks, and we analyzed and tested the entire electrical system on board, assessing both the DC 12 volt and AC 120 volt systems. You definitely cover a lot, and it can get pretty overwhelming. But just try and take it one step at a time, take pictures yourself, and ask a ton of questions. On a survey day, my motto is the more you ask, the more you learn. We're taking a break from the survey right now, waiting for the marina owner to get back so we can do the haul out. And then we have the sea trial, so hopefully everything goes well. But I'm just sitting up here at the helm right now, daydreaming of taking this boat up into Canada, along the Great Loop, over to the Bahamas. And if you're like us, thinking about your next trip, then consider checking out Holafly, which is an international eSIM provider that offers unlimited data plans in over 200 plus destinations. And we've been using them since 2022 on our first trip to Norway, and we recommend them to all of our friends and family. And of course now you guys, or you guys for the last, I don't know, 3 years since they've been a long-term partner on our channel. But we always try and save money whether we're home or on a trip. And before using Holafly, we actually try to get local eSIM cards instead of using the global pass with AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, whoever you have, because they're actually pretty expensive and there's limitations on data each day. Whereas the local SIM cards, you can kind of get a cheaper alternative, you would have better data plans, but there were some struggles with that as well, like language barriers or trying to find a location that actually sold SIM cards. It wasn't always the easiest task. And then if you arrived at your destination late and businesses were closed, then you would have to wait till the next day. So when we found out about Holafly and started using them, it was like a no-brainer, and we started using them ever since on every single international trip that we go on. From a planning perspective, Holafly makes things super easy because you can be proactive and actually purchase your eSIM before you get to your destination over at eSIM.holafly.com or via their mobile app, and have an eSIM installed on your phone in minutes. They also have regional based plans, so if you're going on a multi-country trip over in Europe or like island hopping in the Caribbean, you could just get one eSIM that works in that region, so you don't have to worry about when you cross borders into a new country, you don't have to worry about getting a new eSIM card for that particular country, which is really nice, especially for multi-country trips. Lastly, Holafly does have a hotspot capability, so if you need to use your computer and you're not close to Wi-Fi, or if you need to lend a friend some data because they ran out or they opted not to use Holafly, you can help them out. And with their 24/7 chat support, if you need any assistance, they have you covered. Okay, I think we're ready to do the haul out. So if you have a trip coming up, don't forget about Holafly. Save money with our discount code Mathers on the Map. That gets you 5% off your order. And make sure you stay connected to friends and family while you're away. Again, Holafly, thank you for sponsoring today's video and being a long-term partner of the channel. And let's see how this haul out goes. Fingers crossed. Come on, people. I'm feeling good about this one. Okay, on to part 2 of our survey day, the haul out. For some vessels, this might be the most critical part of the day, as some manufacturers out there are notorious for soft spots and delamination in their hulls. Fortunately, that's not the case for Navigators, so I'm not as worried, but it could still be a make or break on the deal. In my opinion, again, with my very limited experience in this world, I think it's absolutely critical to get a haul out. The cost of the haul out does land on the buyer, and it would be a sunk cost if you were to walk away from the deal if something went wrong. But nothing in boating is free, well, besides anchoring, I guess. But it's important to get the boat hauled out to make sure there's no soft spots or delamination, and to get the bottom of the boat clean to remove all the barnacles so you can get a proper performance test on the engines during the sea trial. It's crazy how much growth gets accumulated on vessels in salt water, and it's going to be a monthly or bi-monthly routine of mine getting this boat cleaned. Fortunately, we did not have any blisters or soft spots in the hull, but I did learn I will have to replace all the zincs as they were nearing the end of their life. Anyway, I was just amazed at how this giant boat is simply hanging over land by slings. I know these machines are obviously well built to handle the load, but it's just crazy seeing something over 40,000 pounds dangling in the air, knowing all well that if something went wrong, it would end up really bad. Fortunately, nothing went wrong, and we wrapped up the haul out. It was now time for the sea trial. For us, this was the biggest moment of the day. I had confidence in the boat's interior systems and the hull, but how the engines would perform was still unknown. We've been waiting what feels like all summer for the turbos to arrive and get replaced, and with the additional valve adjustments, coolant change, and the assessment on the engines, I was pretty confident that things were going to go okay, but I wasn't 100% sure, and the entire day was riding on this one sea trial. So for the sea trial, we did 3 main tests. One was testing out the performance of the engines at different RPMs. This helps you understand if there's any issues with how they perform, and you can compare that with the manufacturer's specs. Ideally, you want to bring the boat to wide open throttle and see if the engine can meet its rated RPMs. You're also looking for any noticeable vibration, black smoke, any overheating, or a wide variety in the pressure gauges. I was thrilled to have our engines perform at each interval as expected, even at open throttle. We then test the rudder and the steering system, turning the vessel all the way to the port side and then all the way to starboard, ensuring there were no issues. Lastly, we tested the engine mounts. We did this by quickly accelerating the boat forward, then back to neutral, then to reverse, and vice versa. This leverages the torque of the engines to see if there's any visible vibrations, if the mounts were loose or in bad shape. This also gives you a good feel for the transmission as well before heading back to the dock. Overall, everything checked out great, and I was getting so excited. It's one more step completed before becoming boat owners. As we were coming into the dock, I was hoping to get it all on camera, but unfortunately the camera died, so we'll have to wait for next time for some docking fun. But once the sea trial was over, we finished up assessing the remaining parts of the boat, like the deck, the anchor and windlass, the flybridge, and the dinghy and davit system. I'm sure there's something else that I may be forgetting, but overall the day was a success. It's been a long road to get here, but we finally made it. And as long as the oil samples come back in good condition, we are moving forward on this beautiful boat. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys, and if you made it this far, thanks for watching. We can't wait to start boat life.